1,500, I hope, no more, no less.
I don't know, we don't actually have a budget.
Oh, a lot.
Entirely too much.
Sometimes I'll see something that if I know the person will like it, it doesn't really matter.
Maybe on toys, maybe $200 between the two of them.
We're on day 4 of our holiday countdown, trying to get everyone ready for Christmas. And so far this week, we've been telling you about all sorts of wonderful things you can buy for your loved ones. Well, tonight, we're going to get serious. We're going to get some advice on how to do all of that and not face a credit crunch in the new year. Jeff Schwartz is the Executive Director of the Consolidated Credit Counseling Service of Canada. He joins me tonight. Thanks so much for being with us. This is such an important subject, Jeff. We just heard those people, no budget, a lot of money, entirely too much. Are these the mistakes that you commonly hear during this holiday season?
We hear a lot of that, Marcia, and truthfully, the biggest mistake that we see is that people attach material things to their happiness. And you know, retailers have geared up for this all year long, and they're ready for it.
Yeah.
And so they like to remind us that we attach our happiness to stuff and the need to have stuff. And we have to, quite frankly, we believe them too. So the problem is that we can't get caught up in that, and we have to take back our control and make sure that we're doing things right so that we don't dig ourselves too far under for the holiday season.
You reminded me of that commercial where the person goes in and says, I want an So you're absolutely right. There is that link. All right, well, talk to us about what we should do, because we want to be savvy with our spending. Give us some advice on what to do before you even hit the malls.
Well, one of the things that we talk about are the do's and the don'ts, and quite frankly, the first do is we want people to focus on the holiday itself and not the gifts that they're going to be receiving. We want people to create memories for themselves. And you know, how often do you remember every gift that you got in the last year? It's probably more frequent that you remember the wacky things that your friends or family did during that time. And that's what it's all about. So after the gift giving is done, maybe go skating, maybe go tobogganing, or even take a walk or visit a shelter. Do something meaningful on that holiday, but plan it.
What about creating a budget?
Creating a budget is really important. First thing you want to do is put down all the people that you want to buy gifts for, all the expenses that you're going to have around the holidays. And in order to do that, you really have to think hard. You want to put everything down, but don't create a per person gift budget.
Really?
No, do an overall budget. And take a look at that budget and make sure that it's something that you can afford. And if it's not, you're going to have to trim back, because the last thing you want is to be paying for these holidays for years to come.
Does that happen?
Absolutely. We see it all the time. I mean, think about it. If someone buys a big ticket item and they're paying only the minimum amount on their credit card each month, that's going to take years and years to pay off.
Let's talk about the don'ts.
Okay. The don'ts are fairly important, and we want to make sure that people pay attention to these. Like, one of the big things is don't buy on impulse. Okay? Just because a clerk suggested it, or just because it might round out a perfect gift.
Or it's on sale.
Or it's on sale, that's another thing. I mean, don't buy it just because it's on sale. And you've got to ask yourself, and this is the primary thing that we tell people, if it wasn't on sale, would you buy it? Mm. And if the answer comes back no, then just walk on by, because it's something that is just going to sit in your cupboard all year long.
Is there an acceptable amount of debt that one can carry over into the new year?
Well, rather than giving you a percentage on what that debt might be, I want you to think about it in a different way. Think about it in what can you afford to pay off in 60 to 90 days. You've spent all this time looking for bargains, trying to find ways to save money, and you found this fantastic buy, and then you put it on your credit card, and then you only pay it off a little bit each month. Well, all the savings you had are going to be eaten up in the interest that you're paying back because you've carried it over month.
All right.
So we try and get people to think about paying it off within 60 to 90 days.
Let's jump ahead to January. And actually, you said that this happened earlier than January last year. Once those bills start coming in and people do find themselves in trouble, what's the first thing they should do?
The first thing that they need to do is assess the situation. Get all their statements in a pile, lay them out on their dining room table, try and figure out what kind of trouble they're in. okay? And then from there, we get people to work some sort of budget and try and figure out what they can afford to pay back. And there's all sorts of strategies on how to do that. And the first one that comes to mind is you want to pay off the credit card or the debt with the highest interest rate first. That may not be your biggest debt, but from the standpoint that that's the one that you're paying the most interest on. Once you've paid that one off, move on to the next one.
Are you anticipating that you'll see a lot of people, maybe more people this year because of the economy?
I am, and in recent news, talking about Bombardier and Rogers laying off people, and then a couple of days ago we got the increase in the unemployment rate. These are all real telltale signs that people are going to be in trouble. And you know, it's the holiday season, sometimes we can't control ourselves, and that's only going to exacerbate the problem going into January. So unfortunately, we anticipate that it's going to be quite busy in January for our counselors.
Jeff Schwartz, you've given us some great advice tonight. Thanks so much.
Pleasure.
Appreciate it.